Hello there. How are you? I hope you're having a great day today. I want to talk about a question that doesn't really come up often in an interview, but I have seen it come up, and I've often seen people nervous and stumble over this question. And the question is, what should I know about you that's not on your resume? Now, first of all, no one's trying to catch you out or trying to find out secretive or hidden things about you. The question is often there to see how you handle awkward questions, or if you're willing to share more about you, maybe more of your outside of work personality. So you can choose to answer this any which way. One of the great ways to answer this question is to talk about if you're a volunteer. So if you do volunteering, it's not on your resume, it doesn't necessarily have to be. Or you may simply have volunteer at the name of the organization, but people don't know what that organization does. So here's where you can expand. So in my case, for example, I use myself as an example. I volunteered for an organization called Second Bite, and Second Bite collected food from markets, took it to the Sacred Heart Mission. The Sacred Heart Mission used that excess food to cook meals for the homeless. So the story behind that is that I've always had a real affinity or desire to help homeless people. And that started really young. So I would say, I was affected by seeing a lot of homeless people on the streets of Cape Town in South Africa. And that meant, I started really young in my teen years working in homeless shelters. And so when I came to Australia, migrated here, I found something that did similar. So whilst I didn't work in a homeless shelter, I worked with an organization aligned to feeding the homeless. So it was kind of like that, you share something about why you do what you do. It's not super important on a resume, but it gives you that human relatability. The other quirky thing I used to share when I got asked that question was, I'm a mad Harry Potter fan. And I would tell people that I simply loved J.K. Rowling's imagination, loved her style of writing, and have all the Harry Potter books, have seen all the movies many times, and absolutely love that piece of literature. Or you could say something like, I'm a Shakespeare fan, or I love Jane Austen, or I love to write poetry, or I coach kids in soccer. I really love seeing children develop. I'm also a mad soccer fan. And so I've combined the two. And that's something that's not on my resume, but it's something that I'm sharing with you and that you should probably know about me. So you know some of what motivates me, some of my passions, some of my interests, right? You want to come across as a well-rounded human. So not a difficult question, and no reason to get worried or think that someone's trying to find out some hidden thing about you. No, they're simply trying to see how you handle that kind of question. And if you're going to share a little bit of your, quirky personality or your quirky interests or your, valid interests. Some interests are not quirky. Some photography is not quirky, volunteering, not quirky, but just share something about yourself. So don't worry about the question. Nothing to worry about there. Very simple to answer. I've just given you a couple of ways of how you could answer that question.